Can you believe that was a year ago?
No.
Highest ratings?
For that week, yeah.
We only come out with one a week. So.
It was the best episode that week.
Welcome back into another episode of Where the Game Lives On, the official podcast of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Well into season 3, Mr. Shive. Well into July, getting ready for the Price Cutter Charity Championship.
It is here.
It is well upon us. It is well upon us. The build is underway. We've got a ton of new changes. I think people are going to be really impressed whenever they come into Highland Springs this year, kind of see the new layout of things. And
Yep, I've been in my hotel room now for 3 nights, and so I am a resident of Springfield, but we're excited about the tournament coming up. It'll be the 35th year, but I've been telling everybody that this is probably the year of the biggest changes in the past 34 years, and so we're excited to kind of unveil all of the brainstorming and all the plans that have been going into this tournament. And I think even as people pull off of Highway 60, they're going to immediately start seeing things, and we're excited.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I'm hoping to be a tournament tradition. We are joined today by our favorite rules official.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Rico Pierson.
Yes.
I'm back.
Welcome in, sir. Welcome in.
It's good to be back. It's coming here every year. It's just like, old home week. I truly enjoy being here, spending 2 weeks of my year for the past probably 20 some odd years. But thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. You got in Monday night. I think you brought the rain with you.
Yeah, I know. That whole barrel, or however we're pronouncing that hurricane.
Yeah, barrels went through Houston, and luckily I got out of DFW in time. It was a little rocky right up here on the jet, but not my jet, but American's jet.
Rico, sponsored by NetJets.
That would be nice. We can work.
So you go to a lot of different tournaments around the country. I mean, I imagine you go the same ones year after year, at least for the most part. When you get back to a place you've been to many times, I mean, you see. We were talking off air before we got on. You saw some old faces and people you know. Is that normal everywhere you go, that you've got the people that you've seen so many times over the years, or is it good, kind of like you said, coming home, so to speak?
Yeah, you're spot on to see people every year, familiar faces, and do more than just have a tournament relationship, but a friendship where I will get texts randomly from people that I've worked with, even if I'm not advancing the event. I think that my personality is one of, as you know me, it's a little, I'm not an introvert, and I remember one tournament where someone had been advancing it for a number of years, and I got there on a Monday, went to the golf course on Tuesday, and on Wednesday I was driving in a cart with him, and he had advanced this tournament for probably 10 years. And as we were driving the golf course, there were people, volunteers and maintenance crew, hey, Rico, what's going on? And it happened a number of times. So he finally stopped the cart and he goes, how do you know these people? You've never been here before. I said, well, I've just been talking to them so.
Being a human being for the last day.
You can't go in and just think that because you are employed of the PGA Tour that it's not. To me, I tell everyone, the key to our success is the relationship, and it's not all the things that we're responsible for, but it's if you don't have a good relationship, then you're not going to get very far, because there's going to be scenarios where it's going to be a difficult situation where you have to say no, and if you're saying no to someone who really doesn't know you, then that could go sideways very quick.
That seems to work pretty well. I feel like I take the no's from you better than most.
Always getting no's. No, you can't put that there. No, that's too loud. No.
I get in a bad habit as a media guy. I could reach out to Preston or Griffin. These are a couple people with the PGA. My instinct is just be like, let's hit up Rico. Yeah, let's see what Rico says about
I don't know
this.
how many times in the last year Taylor and I will be talking about something, and he'll just pull out his phone and call up Rico. Next thing you know, Rico's either sitting in a golf cart at a tournament somewhere or at home for whatever. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
It was funny. You said you've been here in a hotel for 3 nights. And I was thinking, gosh, I'm in hotels for 220 nights.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
But I enjoy hotels.
Yeah.
So
A lot of travel that comes with it.
Yeah,
you got a haircut. You're not rocking the flow anymore.
You know, I just
I was gonna comment on the shave too.
I'm not. I don't stay standard. I kind of just shift around. But I probably won't get a haircut for probably 3 months. So I'll send you a picture when I'm in Japan.
Noah likes to ask guests that come in, do you have like a spot you have to go to in Springfield? Like you're back in Springfield, so you have to eat here or go there or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, the funny you asked that because people are always asking us, what do you go do? What do you see? Where's your favorite restaurant? All those things. And basically, because of the responsibilities we have, I can tell you where the airport is, the rental car, the hotel, and the golf course, and then back to the airport.
So your hours, you're here first thing in the morning pretty much, and after dark, you're heading back to the hotel, I guess. So
Yeah. That's just, I've wondered that, like, how frequently are you advancing tournaments?
I have assigned 5. Generally, you have on your schedule 3 to 5 advances that you do.
Now, you strictly, because obviously you mentioned the Rocket Mortgage earlier, you're not strictly Corn Ferry Tour then?
No, we're PGA Tour rules officials.
Okay.
I mean, there's a staff that works mostly the PGA Tour, and there's staff that works mostly Corn Ferry Tour. But this year, I have also done more PGA Tour events than I have before because there's a little change going on with the PGA Tour right now where video review is becoming very important in golf. We're finally catching up to the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, where as the other sports, we have somebody reviewing, watching a multitude of cameras as play goes on. And then if you've noticed on the PGA Tour broadcast, they'll give either Mark Deuce-Bobick or Orlando Pope as the rules.
Is that Orlando that used to be here?
That is our Orlando Pope that used to be here.
Nice.
So I get he and I get together a few times this year, so it's good.
So like they're not throwing a yellow flag in the middle of the fairway.
No. What happens is that if I'm doing the video review, you're watching a multitude of screens. You're looking at the tee shots, where the ball lands, does it bounce, especially if we're playing in certain wet conditions to see if the ball embedded or not. You see if a ball, if they're looking for a ball, if gone up against a skybox, and then you alert on the radio to the official, hey, you might have a.
So are you looking at the video?
I'm looking at the video. Yeah. So we're in the.
That's on the PGA though.
That's on the PGA Tour.
Because they have
right.
all the cameras.
Eventually, that's going to come to the Corn Ferry Tour.
Wow.
But there's a whole new facility being built at the Global Home that will house the PGA Tour Live and the video review.
Oh wow!
And it's going to be it's the next. It's a very big thing.
So it'll be much like football, where it's like, they're looking at this in New York or
right.
wherever.
Yeah.
So
Ponte Vedra.
We're looking at the video review will be done in Ponte Vedra, and then Mark or Orlando will be on site at the golf course directly with the feed for NBC, CBS.
What's
Golf
the
Channel.
stickiest situation rules-wise you've gotten in over the years in terms of anything stand out, like a particular ruling or something that happened during an event?
Well, it happened at Bay
out?
Hill just recently with Kitayama.
Okay.
I'm doing the video review, and I see his ball not cross above the penalty line. And so I see he plays a shot. I see what happens. He and the caddy begin to walk to the green. And I know that they're not going to be able to drop that ball up there. So I immediately rewound, taped it on my phone, and sent it to the committee and called the officials. And just so you know, that ball did not cross above the line. It didn't do it. And so the official is driving up there with him and stops him just short of the green to let him know, and they don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
the official says, we have video review. It didn't cross above the line. We need to go back. The conversation goes, well, how do who's this? We're not going to trust some volunteer. And the rules official will know it's a PGA. It's another PGA Tour.
Just name drop. It's Rico.
But he didn't.
Okay. I'll go back.
Well, Mike Pierson didn't drop that name, but he did have the video on his phone in his pocket, and told them you can look at it after the round, in which they did, and saw that they did the right thing. But had that video review not been there, he would have gone up there and they'd have thought that it crossed above the line. And,
Because it used to be like people would just be watching TV and they would call in and complain about the ball moved or whatever. Now it's all strictly.
When we started doing this a few years ago, a rules official would be assigned to just go into the rules office and watch it on TV. And so you're trying to pick it up from TV, where now you have all these multitude of cameras, all these feeds you can watch, and it can get kind of hairy in there watching things, but you get used to it and what you're trying to see, and it as a matter of fact, you're for what I found for myself and others are finding that your vision kind of expands, and you just notice things, and the guys on the golf course, the officials out there appreciate the fact that, especially on the PGA Tour with the crowds, that they get an earlier start on something. And then, of course, when you see something happen, to correct it, because everyone wants to protect the field.
That's for the rules, of course, but like lost balls, does it help with that too? Like if it goes in somewhere and they can't find it, but you can see it on the screen.
Right, you see on the screen. It's funny sometimes that when you're looking at it from the camera angle, you think that it might be something that could be lost, and you notify one of the officials out there, and of course we all know each other, and they got to get down there and they say, well, no, it's not even close to being that way. So then next time you see that camera angle, that if you see a ball do basically the same thing, you're not disturbing someone.
This kind of reminds me of the instance that happened here recently. I don't remember what tournament it was at. It was Rory, though, I think, was like the duck gate or whatever like that. Is that what they called it? Where his ball was crossing the water.
I was there.
Yeah. Break it down for me.
Well, that he was playing with Spieth and Victor Hovland.
Yes.
And his ball was in the penalty area, and he was trying to establish where it last crossed the margin of the penalty area. The problem, and the very first thing they did, they came to video review, and they came to me and Mark Bobick to ask us about that. Well, the angle we had didn't show it was across the fairway, so we couldn't see the penalty line. We could only give an approximation, but nothing definitive. So we eventually, Roy was trying to get it done, and people thought that he was yelling at Victor and Jordan in a negative way, but he was yelling because they're across the fairway and they couldn't hear him. He was just trying to get it right, and they were just saying, "Do it," and it looked like they were possibly arguing, but they weren't arguing. They were just trying to figure it out.
I feel like, though, what you were saying about kind of just being a people person and just trying to like talk things out, that kind of applies to when you're applying a rule in certain situations. You just try to kind of converse with whoever the party is to try and come to a commonality of, all right, this is what the rule needs to be and this is what we need to do. Yeah,
I mean that's very true. You go in there, you're stepping into their bubble, and you want to step out of that bubble and not have them thinking about you. So recently there was one where there was a discussion where the ball did cross the margin of the hazard. No one can see where it was. And the caddy said, well, it bounced, it did this, and, but there was it wasn't virtually certain where it did cross. And so I just, in the discussions, I asked the other two players and other two caddies, you got anything? They got nothing. They didn't have an opinion of what happened. So I turned to the player and I said, look, we're not virtually certain it did this. It's on you. What do you think? And his caddy goes, well, we should drop it here. And the player looked at the caddy and goes, no, we're going to go much further back. And so you just in that scenario, you're not trying to bully to them. You're just trying to let them think, slow things down so they can realize what they need to do, the right thing.
Yeah, I can't think of any other sport where collaboration with the players is that like pertinent to kind of uphold the integrity of play. So that's really interesting. But it's so cool to see you guys making these advances. And golf is so different because it's not all happening within a certain confined space like in basketball or football. Every hole's different. Every hole has different obstructions and stuff that you kind of have to think about, I guess, whenever, that instance arises. But let's talk about let's just talk about the state of golf right now. Just how do you think things are going, with just the progression of the game and its growth right now?
You look at how the players finished, how the PGA Championship finished, how the U.S. Open finished, and all the excitement that I know the Players is not a major.
Yeah, the fifth major.
The fifth major. Mm-hmm. But all the excitement I think it's trending very well. Of course, there's all the talk about LIV and coming back and everything else, and then you see DeChambeau, who wins the U.S. Open, and his personality has changed from what he was like on the PGA Tour, and I hope that for his sake he's realized that hey, I need to really engage with people,
not be a butthole.
And it's true, and I think we tell these young players on the Korn Ferry Tour, and even when you see them on the PGA Tour, you need to engage with people. You don't need to be so stoic. It is a game, and you need to bring the people into it because you're selling yourself. It's invaluable if you would just engage with people, and more often than not, it falls on deaf ears.
Something that I've really enjoyed this year on the Korn Ferry Tour. And speaking about the growth of the game, we like to talk about full swing and seeing some of the behind the scenes. I think a lot of the digital content is really helping connect with a lot of the players. I've loved seeing a lot of former winners of ours and guys that have been up on the PGA and maybe they're back on the tour, but have success and really kind of be catalysts this year. We won't know the complete list for the price cutter until we get closer to the weekend, but possible that we see some of those former champions. Do you kind of create relationships with some of these guys that you see over time and just you're with them, at different weeks throughout the year?
Yeah, it's a different kind of relationship. It's kind of a business relationship. Yet there are some players that I have more of a relationship with. It's just because you see them often, and their personality is my personality, and how it all works out. But yeah, I mean it's I love working PGA Tour events and seeing the success of guys that were playing out here, struggling and just getting by, and then when the purses were less, and now they're multimillionaires. And I had that conversation at Bay Hill with Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns, and just told them that I was extremely proud of how they carried themselves and what they give back to the game.
Let's talk about Scotty. My goodness,
He's on one right now.
We break down so much after, especially weekends after majors, and give our our breakdowns on things. But what is it like just to see a guy like that kind of really gaining a lot of momentum, having a lot of success on a pretty weekly basis?
It's amazing, and that's the one thing that that people, golf fanatics, don't understand about the Korn Ferry Tour. That's where these guys came from, and they had the opportunity to see them much closer than they can see them now. So I just wish that more people would come out and see the Korn Ferry Tour and just get to see these guys.
Well, that's what's awesome when the truck arrives and it's got these guys that everyone who knows anything about golf, oh, I know who that is. Oh, well, there's that guy. I know him and him. They're plastered on the side of this truck, and they were playing in tournaments just like this not too long ago. So these guys are good. They're really good.
It's amazing that the difference between the two tours is just minute.
Yeah, it's really cool for us. I really enjoy getting to see how's Pierson Cootie doing on the tour, and how's, is he
Max
finding
McGreevy, former champion here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's really cool. What do you want to talk about next? Where do you want to go with
No,
it?
I mean, you've been here at this tournament for as long as anyone. What are you excited about this year for the Price Cutter Charity Championship presented by Dr. Pepper?
Yes, it's a sweet one. What I'm very excited about is the build out at 9 and 18. How you've expanded that and you've included more things there, and it's something that I think that if you've been here before, or if you haven't been here before, it's a must see this year. What you guys are doing here, and how you've planned it, and you've taken the spectator just in mind what they need to have at that area. So I'm very excited about that. The golf course, due to the rains, it's a little wet right now, but other than that, it looks in great shape. But this is an event that if you're anywhere close to the Springfield area, you should venture out here and take a look at it.
Yeah, a lot of what you're referring to is, I think, efforts by us to keep people in the action. Mm-hmm. We've moved a lot of our main hospitality venues, just a lot of those accommodations, right around kind of the epicenter of action.
Well, you were having to leave golf for an hour at least to go eat lunch.
Yeah.
Because of where everything was located. So we've kind of, in visiting other tournaments and going to the tour meetings and talking to other tournament directors and getting Carrie and Taylor from our staff going to these things for the first time and realizing that there's other tournaments out there that are doing things a little bit different. Our motto is we're trying to create an elite social environment that happens to have a professional golf tournament going on around it. So that's kind of what we're aiming towards, and hopefully more to come next year. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Have you heard about 9 and Wine?
Wine and Nine.
Wine and Nine. My bad. Wine.
Have you had the wine already?
Apparently, might have.
So it's Wine and Nine?
It's the Wine and Nine Terrace overlooking the number 9 green. We'll be offering up, this is open to the public, so we'll be actually selling, beer and wine and drinks there, and for a certain price. And then if someone birdies 9, a timer starts and it's half price drinks until the timer, then it goes back to full price. So that's the Wine and Nine Terrace.
That's awesome.
So that's unveiled this year. So
but who's responsible for the clock as well? Taylor's not responsible for the clock, is he?
We're not. Well, and obviously not Noah over here. Goodness gracious.
I think that's actually done. That's done in the rules. Isn't that,
The rules official.
I can certainly do that. It's be a lot of half price.
Tough job.
You don't have enough going on. We thought we'd throw something else on your plate, but yeah, no, it should be a really interesting tournament this year. It's always cool to see who is the next, who's got next. And I know that that's not the official slogan of the Korn Ferry Tour, but I always just love seeing, the young guys, the guys that are just out of college, being able to come up and solidify themselves. Say what you can. Are there any guys that you think have really started to kind of make their mark?
Well, you look at someone like your past champion, Harry Higgs.
Yeah.
Won here
17? Is that right?
Something like
19?
that. Yeah.
But 19, 21, maybe. Yeah.
So he wins and goes to the PGA Tour and is not successful at all. He moves. He's now back this year on the Korn Ferry Tour, and his game and his attitude, everything is just totally. Not that he matured, but he just got comfortable. He's already won twice this year, and has played in a few PGA Tour events because of that.
Hashtag Tourbound.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're just you just never know who's going to do it. The two Cooties that played here, one your past champion, they're doing fine. They want to do better, but at least they're competing, and it's just great to see those guys go through their successes and failures.
Because I know that there's Harry Higgs is one. There's others that are guaranteed to make it to the tour next year. They're high enough on the points that they're going to finish in the top 25 or whatever it is to advance. Once they get to that point, do you think the pressure's off. I mean, they're probably so competitive that they still want to go out and finish first every week. But
finish first, has a lot of the players you get in that. There's a lot of things to finish first on the Korn Ferry Tour list, points list. But I think they're just competitive, and I think that if they're playing well, they want to play.
Yeah.
And taking weeks off, I just don't think taking weeks off on the Korn Ferry Tour makes any sense.
Unless you're getting married, Harry Higgs, congratulations. You won't be here in Springfield, but I hope you enjoyed the honeymoon.
We will miss you. We will miss you, yeah.
Harry did want me to tell you that he's...
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah. Harry's actually bartending at the Wine and Nine Terrace this weekend. So,
you mentioned this, though, too. I think one thing that keeps them going, even once they've solidified, that jump up to the PGA, is the purses are no joke.
Right.
I mean, and especially whenever you look at the cuts as you get up and you get up into the top 10. I was telling somebody this the other day. It's not equivalent to like being a minor league baseball player. Nope. Not at all. No. You go out, you compete, you have success. It's really impressive to see the earnings that they're making in just a single year. 2 wins, having a win here and a lot of top 10s. I mean, they can bring in a pretty serious bag.
Well, I mean, a week from Sunday, someone's going to leave Springfield with $180,000 for winning this tournament. So, I mean, that's not a bad week.
Crazy. So. Whenever you look at stuff like that, and obviously there's a lot of pieces up top that take place, but what kind of other things, what decisions take place that you feel like help elevate the play when it comes to whether it's the purse or, replay? What other things do you think help get the players kind of at their peak performance and just striving for those high finishes?
Well, I think one of the things that players will always say is the course condition. Is that course that I'm playing that week preparing me for the PGA Tour? And there's a lot of discussion back and forth of when we play the tournaments, but the timing to put a schedule together is something that I don't want to be a part of. I can tell you that, because it's a very difficult thing to do. But at the same time, we go to a golf course that is demanding, and then the same guys that are wanting the demanding golf course are saying, "Well, this is pretty hard. It's too hard." So to me, it's all about how you approach the game, approach that field of play that week, and quit worrying about whether that you think that course is easy. I don't think that TPC Deer Run is an easy golf course, but yet 23 under one, which is close to what last year I think it was 25 that won here.
Yeah.
So do you think so? Did anybody say that TPC Deer Run was an easy golf course? It's on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
So it's I don't get all wrapped up in that.
Yeah. Say what you want about Highland Springs too. I think something that not a lot of your average consumers, golf fans that come out here realize is a lot of these guys are coming from altitude. Mm-hmm. And so their clubs are playing different links, and they kind of have to get in on Monday, Tuesday, what have you, and kind of recalibrate. I'm hitting my pitching, I was hitting my pitching wedge 160 last week, and now I got to play it a little differently. I think that does play a factor for guys when they get into town here.
It's a new challenge. Sometimes because of the time of year we play here and the temperatures, we've got to keep those greens from dying. Mm-hmm. So then, are they a little softer? Yes, but does that make it a bad golf course? No. It just means that you have to have your approach shots more dialed. You have to be more dialed in. The greens are a perfect surface. I mean, it's all those things. I just think that players sometimes get wrapped up in the fact whether the golf course is easy or hard instead of just playing that test that week.
And everybody's playing the same course. So
playing the same
course.
Like
somebody has an advantage over somebody else.
No.
Let's move away from the golf a little bit. Something I always associate with you.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. This is a child-friendly show.
Absolutely. No, you are known, I think, for your kind of nuance, whatever. I don't know what to call it, but you're a big cigar guy.
Oh, I was like, wait, where is this going?
I was scared.
We don't have a dump button. I was terrified.
But no, where did that come from?
I just enjoy I don't know how it started. It may have started in the Dominican Republic, but just enjoying a good cigar. And it's funny that for whatever reason, because I started, people saw that I smoked cigars. I have more people bringing me cigars.
Not a bad thing.
Which is not a bad thing. So very, very fortunate.
What's the best cigar you've ever had? Then best smoking experience?
Swisher Sweet.
Wasn't expecting that one.
I mean, the Cubans are, some of the best. But I think for me, not being an aficionado of cigars, just enjoying it, kind of like bourbon, fresh rolled cigar.
Okay.
And
Have you ever been to where they're actually rolling them?
yes.
Yeah. That's
and then I have friends of mine who will play in a pro-am where they have they roll cigars there and they'll bring those to me. And those are just,
Write
they're
that
great.
down. Write that down.
Next year, Price Cutter Pro.
That's something you could do.
Fresh rolled cigars.
Yeah. Do it for the pro-am. It's great.
I hear people say the same thing about when they go to a brewery, like freshly brewed beer, and it's like it comes out hot or something like that, but it's got a totally different complexity and nuance to it. So kind of like that, I guess, is pretty similar. So I don't know. I had to ask though.
We do have future plans for a cigar lounge at the Price Cutter Charity Championship.
So there you go.
It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Because I could put my cart right there.
We'll just have a little drive up space for you. You can.
Yeah.
No, but that goes back into that stance that we take as it's a social experience for people. And by the way, you get to see some of the next great golfers come through Springfield, Missouri, which is always just kind of profound to me that we have that opportunity.
Yeah, and that was awesome last year, even with the finish that we had with Pierson Cootie and Chandler Phillips. We're going neck and neck on the back nine on Sunday. You can't ask for anything better than that. It was an exciting finish, and we're looking forward to seeing who's next week. So
Yeah, should be interesting. A lot of busy stuff ahead for sure. But hey, if you've made it this far in the episode, we appreciate you joining us. New episodes every Wednesday, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Rico, always a pleasure.
yes,
Byron,
you don't have
thank
to wait for just a golf tournament. You can just show up sometime if you want.
Yeah, just surprise us,
Just-
walk in the front
just
door.
walk in?
We'll
Okay.
film a podcast episode.
On my jet, right?
Yeah, your NetJet sponsorship. So.
And I gotta on the record, I gotta thank you for the bib, the personalized bibs. We were really stoked about those around here. So
Well, we thought that you and Byron and Taylor deserved that. So your personalized bibs.
You
and-
I don't know, man. I did something right, apparently. Apparently.
You did not.
Well, hey, if you like our episode, share it with a friend. Be sure to leave us a review. And we'll be here next week, tournament week. So all the festivities will be in full swing.
We will have a TBD Corn Ferry Tour player next week.
That is correct. Looking forward to that one. Rico, thank you so much again.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Byron, anything for the people?
We'll see you next week at the Price Cutter Charity Championship presented by Dr. Pepper.
And
It's a sweet one.
and we will catch you next time on another episode of Where the Game Lives On.